welcome to another episode of the Edmonds Moms Room podcast. We are so excited today to have Julianne Weatherhogue of Vital Flow Holistic Postpartum Support. And Julianne is a massage therapist.
I'm also a postpartum doula.
Lovely. Okay, cool. Well, I'm so excited to get to know you and really share with the community everything that you do. I think I love your presence on social media. It is so fun to follow you. And you also have a family of your own. So start with just telling us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
So like she said, I'm Julianne, and I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, right here in Everett. When I graduated high school, I moved to Alaska for 3 years, and that's where I went to massage school. And that's kind of where I fell in love with working with pregnant people and moms. And then I started working for a chiropractor and was kind of, just got into that just to get the hands-on stuff figured out. And then I moved back home after 3 years. And after a little bit, I opened up, when my son was a year old, I opened up my business. Okay. And now I work pretty exclusively with prenatal and postpartum people for massage therapy. And then as of February, I became a postpartum doula. And so now I'm integrating that into my business, and I'm having a really, really great time just seeing people throughout that whole process and supporting them on their pregnancy journey as they become parents. It's super cool.
Yeah.
It's watch, really.
Cool.
Yeah.
Congratulations on becoming a postpartum doula.
Thank you. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited to dive into all of this. So, when did you decide to start your own business or to go out on your own for Vital Flow?
I'd always wanted to. I feel like ever since I was a little kid, I used to kind of have an entrepreneurial mindset. I remember my brother and I set up a quick shade and had this old little coffee espresso machine we got at Goodwill, and we made coffee on the sidewalk and sold it to people. And I started a little stamping card business, and I was 12. So it's always kind of been there. I think I had the mindset that I couldn't start a business without going to business school. Not saying that's not valuable, but for me, an opportunity for a rental space kind of dropped in my lap about a year after my son was born. And I kind of was like, why not? There's so many great resources, and I've met so many amazing people that have really mentored me along my journey. So I'm just figuring it out one step at a time. So yeah, it's been really cool.
Lovely.
Really, really great.
Glad you've done it so far.
Yes. I mean, it's been challenging, of course. And, your personal work, self-work always transfers to your business and all that. So definitely in my own postpartum healing, taking care of myself. And I have noticed, go figure, the more I take care of myself, the more I have to give to my patients and my clients, and I can really be present for them. So that's been a really beautiful journey, honestly.
Oh, so that's good to hear and amazing in all sorts of ways. Tell us a little bit about what you do. I mean, I know you're a massage therapist, but kind of what's your role in prenatal support and postpartum? So if you don't mind sharing.
Start with prenatal. That's what happens first.
Yeah.
So a little background. I'd probably say a year or so ago, I went at Bastyr at the Simpson Center. I took a perinatal massage course. So in massage school, you get a very, very brief overview of all the different populations you could work with. But I really wanted to dive deeper and really figure out how to actually support people. And I feel like that was a really valuable experience. And I definitely would encourage people to do that if they're interested in perinatal massage. And then when I first opened my business, I hadn't really niched down to that. But after taking that class, I was it's a week-long workshop. I was like, oh my word, this is what I'm doing. This is amazing. Decided to start networking with local midwives and doulas and any lactation consultants and anyone in the community, just getting to know my area better. And so that's been really cool. So I see people prenatally for massage. And I mean, I think a lot of people know that massage is stress reduction, and it also can increase oxytocin production. And also I think for first-time parents too, and I had this experience, you don't feel pregnant. You might be sick, but you don't really, body-mind connection isn't always there. So having a massage can really help you connect with your baby. And that can be a really valuable thing.
I've never thought about it that way. That's fascinating.
Yeah, totally. I think it's really cool. And then as, you start feeling really pregnant, there's lower back pain and sometimes there's pubic symphysis imbalance, and, your pelvis tilts a different way and there's more weight in the front, and everything gets, your lumbar spine curves too, not too much. It's compensating for the weight, but all those can cause a lot of pain. And I think that as women and people that give birth, we kind of have this notion that it has to hurt to be pregnant. And I don't think it does. I think there's definitely tools out there and resources to have a really awesome, intentional pregnancy and postpartum period. And I love being a part of people's journey with that. So I know at the end of pregnancy, a lot of people experience a lot of swelling in their extremities and feet and stuff, and it can definitely help with increased circulation. And near probably about 35 weeks and on, I like to do more of a labor prep massage. So we start more, usually massage prenatally the side lying, just for optimal blood flow to the placenta and the baby, and pelvic alignment and stuff like that. And then about 35 weeks on, I start semi-reclined. So you're sitting down, but you're laying back a little bit. And then we'll do a lot of stretch, leg stretching and pelvic work. And it's really amazing. I mean, I've had people say things like, I don't have pregnant hips anymore. And I'm like, yay, you don't have to. And so that's really cool.
Let's stick with that pregnancy stuff first.
Okay, we can dive into that a little more for sure.
Yeah, it's just because I mean, we say the same things here, as in what we do. And, a lot of our prenatal prep and birth prep is a lot of internal pelvic floor work, but it just is so complemented with the extra, with someone getting massage and just being ready for the birth process it is so good, because if you go into birth with alignment and without SI pain or low back pain, then you're able to open your legs more. You're able to open everything.
Not get cramps and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. And so it can make the actual laboring experience that much better, and when the laboring experience is better, less intervention is needed, and less likely to
get that cascade of interventions.
Exactly, and less likely to end up with cesarean overall. And so I think that's why I wanted you, I just wanted to note that, because I think it is so important, not just for a self-care perspective and feeling really good, but also the benefits that it can bring to the actual birthing process. Definitely. Is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So I love what you do.
Yeah. Another thing is, I think a lot of people think pregnancy and holistic alternative care, and then they're like, oh, chiropractic, which is awesome. I think that jumps people's minds, and chiropractic is amazing, but it works really well in conjunction with massage. So I like to kind of let people know that, because your body's changing so fast, especially in the last couple trimesters, that even if you get an adjustment, your body changes so fast, like I said. And so having massage can help you hold that adjustment longer. And I see that with non-pregnant people too, but especially in pregnancy, I've noticed that it can be a really beneficial thing.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And then I interrupted you on your way to talking about postpartum support.
No worries.
Please.
So I really felt led to dive more into postpartum, just because, like I said earlier, of my own experience. I had an emergency cesarean. It was just a little brief. I don't dive into my birth story too much, but it was a very easy pregnancy. Everything was perfect. And then he stopped moving the last 24 hours. And it was very quickly from midwives, okay, now you're having a C-section within 2 hours. And it was really, really hard. And I think just recovering physically from that, it took about a year until I finally sort of felt normal, and even now, over 2 years since then, I'm still, dealing with the mental and physical trauma of that. So yeah, I think it's really important. So I take appointments for postpartum massage in my office. And I also, with the postpartum doula work that I'm moving into, I'm offering in-home postpartum massage along with the doula support, to really nurture those first 3 months of people's journey into parenthood, or second time parenthood, or third or fourth or fifth, or however many children you have. No matter what it is, there's always a transition. And it's not just, I think people think of a transition, oh, well, you had a baby, so there's like that bonding, and that's where we stop as a culture, I think. And it's like, well, what about the partner and the baby? And that you have a new relationship between the partner and the mom, and the whole family dynamic changes. Or even if you have a pet, it all changes, you know? And so I think my role would be to come in and really nourish the whole family, but especially the mom, and like help get rid of that kind of mom guilt that a lot of people have around asking for help. It's hard to ask for help. Most of us don't, or don't even realize that we need it or could have it. And just like intentional rest. I think that is a really kind of radical concept, but I think it's so important. And I mean, I'm able to help facilitate that. And I think that's really important and special.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. And of course, like, I couldn't agree more, especially with like the pelvic organs themselves just healing. And like, imagine having that rest and then not ending up with a pelvic organ prolapse. Because a lot of times those happen after birth, you know, just because things are heavy and loosey-goosey and haven't gone back, but we don't rest in our society. And so I love that. I love that. And thank you for sharing. So as far as like, well, there's so many things I want to know about this. What is your parameter? Like, where do you travel as far as like postpartum support goes? Yeah, go ahead. You can answer that first.
Okay. So I'll go kind of as north as like Arlington area. Like I'm in Everett. So Arlington, Snohomish, like North Bothell, that's kind of where I like to stick. But I will like go to Woodinville if it's, I mean, that's kind of why I'm attaching it to the postpartum support massage also, so that I'm there for like a 4-hour shift plus a massage to make it really worth both of our time.
Cool. Oh, I love that. And then, so from a postpartum support, you're talking about this, you know, and it still seems like what happens? What do you do in that?
Yeah, you want to break it down?
Okay.
Totally. Yeah. So just starting with little things, like a lot of people have a birth plan or birth preferences, but not many people have a postpartum plan. So when I meet with people prenatally, a lot of what we talk about is, what are your expectations? You know, what is your ideal postpartum experience? And not everyone's thought about that before. You know, what are things like when you're really sleep deprived, what are things that are really hard for you to do? What is something that would be really helpful if your partner could do? And we make a checklist and it goes on the fridge so everyone knows. And, you know, and also helping people ahead of time navigate, like, is there a meal train that you need help setting up? Who can come over, especially in these times, you know, with COVID and everything? Who can come see the baby? When can they come? You know, who do you want around? How long do you want people to stay? If you have family coming from out of town, you know, what do you want their involvement to be? And I can kind of help support decisions that you want to make in those times.
That's amazing.
And it's scheduled too, so you know when I'm coming. And I think sometimes with family, it's like you're hosting them at the same time, and you're not hosting me. I'm here to serve you and help you feel amazing and heal.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I love this. I've never thought, like, I know this is so silly, but like, I've never actually thought about that. So, I mean, to me, just thinking if I had a schedule of like when people visited, or even just a list of tasks for my husband to do, like, I should implement that now.
Do it.
Like, that is so cool. So, it sounds kind of simple, but that is so true. And I think most women, maybe not most, but like, I would feel this way. It's hard to like even identify what would be helpful, you know.
I have lots of suggestions. Even like I don't do some. There's some postpartum doulas out there that are personal chefs and will do full-blown meal plans. That is not my expertise. What I can really offer beyond just the doula support is the massage. Cool. But I will do, like, I can run to the store before my shift and grab ingredients or your favorite snack items. That's what I also like to know ahead of time, is what are your favorite snacks? Because snacks are life. And that way I can always have those in your fridge, so that even if I'm not there, your partner or whoever is there else to help you could grab you what you like. I think a lot of people after they have babies, you don't necessarily want a big meal, but you're hungry all the time. So having like little snack plates, like little this, little that, having your water filled at all times. If you had a C-section, having someone that can bring the baby to you, that's really helpful. Grabbing you another ice pack, helping you with your, like if you end up doing like a support kind of binder thing after, having someone help you change that, all that is within my scope. I do not do overnight support. Some postpartum doulas do, and it's amazing, but I have a 2-year-old and I'm a single parent, so that is not what I can do right now. But if someone is interested in that, that is definitely something that postpartum doulas do offer in this area, and I have a lot of connections and can, hook someone up with whatever they need. So that kind of leads me to my next thing is like local resources. Like even talking with you today, like I know I've referred people to you before, but just knowing that my clients have me as a resource to refer them to places that if they need like a local parent group or mental health support, or I don't know, lactation support, and knowing who does home visits and who does office visits. And it's also, I'm always looking for new ways to add to that too. So or if someone wants to do diaper service, if you're interested in cloth diapers, I do that with my son, still not potty trained yet. So I have a lot of knowledge in that too, and helping someone set that up. So like a lot of practical support, a lot of things.
I love that.
And reminders to stay in bed. This is your time to rest.
It's so essential, and I think that is so appreciative. And I really didn't know what the scope, and I suppose not, like you kind of mentioned, every postpartum doula will be different, and it'll be like finding the match for you. But I think it's so special that you do massage too, because I think that like that just starts the healing so much earlier, and it can and it should, and so I love that piece of the puzzle that you do.
Can I dive real quick into postpartum massage? I feel like I haven't talked to that specifically yet.
I would love you to.
So one of my favorite things about postpartum massage is it's kind of, well, let me back up. I feel like when you come home from the hospital or your birth center, or you have your baby at home, and it's kind of this flurry of activity and adrenaline, and maybe you even stay up all night because you're so excited, you have a new baby. Oh my goodness, it's amazing. And then you kind of get into that fog of sleep deprivation, and you're really tired and you're hungry and emotional, which is amazing and what's supposed to happen, but it's a lot, even talking about it, I'm thinking about my own experience, and wow, that was amazing, but it was a lot. And there's almost no solid transition from the pregnancy to the postpartum besides, wow, there's a new baby and a lot of things going on. And a postpartum massage is a really good way to kind of end the pregnancy and tangibly start the postpartum rest. And I like to do a lot of abdominal work to kind of encourage things to come back together with your abdominal muscles and your organs. Like, you've heard of like the fundal massage they do in the hospital. It's painful. No one likes it. And I do a much gentler kind of continuation of that as well.
That's fantastic. And you start that right away, like day one, you'll
ideally, go. Yeah. I mean, I can come usually you'll have a prenatal, like we'll do a video, like a Zoom consult, 15 minutes just to see what kind of care they want from me. And then from there, they can either just book a prenatal massage, or we can do an in-person interview so I can get to know the family a little better and talk about expectations, and then sign a contract or not. And then I do a prenatal visit in the home to kind of get to know everything, so that when I come in for my first shift, they don't have to explain things as much.
Cool.
But yeah, it's really awesome. And then just, feeding a baby, whether you're bottle feeding or breastfeeding, no matter what you're doing, it's hard on your body. And it's motions you probably haven't had to do before. So there's a lot of tension and stress, and you hold in your body. And we hold emotions in our body too, especially like in our hips and abdominal area. So after going through something like a birth, having massage to kind of help ease into that and process stuff can be really beneficial. Yeah. I love it.
I couldn't agree more. If people were watching this, they'd like just see my face and your face, and like it is so needed and just so underdone. And and I'm just, honestly, I didn't know you provided all this. So I'm excited to be able to share this with moms that need that support in home. Yeah. So I'm grateful. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
On that, I am probably for postpartum, I'm taking prenatal massage clients right now. But for postpartum support, probably January is when I have space to take more work on.
Okay. So you're pretty booked. That's fantastic. I wouldn't expect anything else. Tell me, if you wouldn't mind sharing, what's your vision for Vital Flow? Where does this go? What does this look like in 5 years? What's your life look like in 5 years?
I don't even know. That's such a hard question.
Okay.
Like I said, I kind of jumped, the business thing fell in my lap, so I'm kind of making it up as I go. I would love to have a tiny house and own some land and be with my son and be outside a lot. That's one of my goals. So if my business can help me get there, that'd be amazing. In this area, though, not moving. I love the Pacific Northwest.
We have so much in common.
Well, I'm sure we'll have other conversations, I'm sure, besides this one right now. I am not honest. I'm not really sure. I think I'm just trying to just kind of live in the moment and take it one thing at a time. And as I network more and meet people, if things come up, then we'll decide then. So I'm really, I think moving into postpartum work is really kind of what I'm focusing on right now, for sure.
Yeah, that's special, and it just seems like it seems exactly like what people need right now, and probably always. So
yeah, I would love to eventually do birth doula work as well. Now that I think about it, there are a couple things, and then in December I'm taking a childbirth education course, so I would love to have some online as well as in person kind of support to really be people's person, throughout the whole journey as much as I can.
Oh, that's fantastic. That 5-year question wasn't on the list, so I'm sorry. I threw that at you. I was like, I just want to know, where are you going?
Yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting. I'll let you know when I know.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to share, or anything that's coming up that you want people to know about you?
So one thing, just kind of back to like the cultural norms around postpartum. We've all heard the term bounce back, right? I don't like it. I hear it more than once a week these days. And it makes me really sad that we feel like we have to minimize the transition that people go through. It takes a year to internally heal, minimal, no matter what kind of birth you have. So when I talk to people and they're like, oh, I felt great in a month, I'm like, everyone has a different experience, so I would never, say, well, how can that be? But I think there is this cultural norm that we have to bounce back and be everything for everyone else and not fill up our own cup. And I think that's just so important. I know for me, the more I work on myself, the better parent I am, the better business owner I am, the better friend I am, the healthier I am, the healthier other people are. So I think just kind of trying to just kind of revolutionize the postpartum period and really uplift it and talk about it more, talk about how hard it is, talk about our struggles openly, and not feel like we need to bounce back.
Yes. And honestly, it's
really important to me.
It's a dangerous mentality. Like really, truly, that's, when we see people 3 years postpartum, 5 years postpartum, and you don't heal after birth, you're like, that's where you get the most dysfunction or most, things going on that then you have to recover from. So the recovery happens at some point, or needs to, else the body's just going to spin into compensations. And, I'm talking from a physical perspective, and I think it's not just physical, it's extremely emotional as
very
well.
intertwined.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so, it would just, if it happens earlier, I think the women that can see that is not a rush to bounce back, and that isn't a thing, and that, you get to start to restore or just heal your body in the ways that it needs to. And there's not this, we all want to get back to our normal energetic selves and feel that way again. Totally. Absolutely. And I think that gets confused with getting to the gym and losing the weight, thinking that that's going to give us that sense of having the energy again. And, that's not the case. And that's when I think that you end up paying the price for that later on.
Totally. And even with like a C-section, there's so much scar tissue. And if someone wants to try for a VBAC, like there's a lot of work and healing that could be done to give someone the best chance for that. And I think that like massage can be a part of that. I like to teach, like, so I actually have an ebook on self massage for a cesarean scar. And kind of starts with what you can do right after birth with just, even holding your hands over the area. Like sometimes just emotionally that's too hard. But just starting with that, just giving attention to that area, and then kind of progresses. And I do it myself all the time whenever I can think about it.
Can I ask you a specific question?
Yeah.
If we have a patient that's like training for a VBAC and we're doing a lot of pelvic floor work, will you do scar work when they're pregnant?
Yeah, I can. Awesome. Yeah. I like to do, because consistency is where you're going to see the most results with that. I like to teach it as well, because if someone's coming in once a week for a prenatal massage, there's 6 other days when they need to be manipulating the tissue and stuff like that. Cool. But a lot of it's emotional work too. Scars hold emotion. Like I said, our bodies hold emotions. And so when you start working on it, stuff might come up. And I think it's really important to work through that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all this. And I love hearing you talk about everything. I feel like we could nerd out about the postpartum period for
totally. Let's do it. Let's get coffee again sometime.
Yes, absolutely. We will. Where can people find you?
So I have a website. It's vitalflowmb.com. And from there, you can email me to talk about postpartum support, or book like a consultation call, or you can directly from the site book a massage. I will say the in-home stuff is all by appointment only. So definitely that. And then on Instagram, I am at vital_flow.
Love it.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for being here. And
happy
really, actually, thank you for
wonderful conversation.
Thank you for sharing your experience. I think that helps a lot of women as well. So thanks for being transparent in that regard. So, well, thank you. And this was a fun convo.
The Edmonds Mom's Room podcast is brought to you by Body Motion Physical Therapy. We help women through pregnancy and beyond so they can live active, confident, and healthy lives.